Hello everybody, this video is brought to you by the Maniac. We're going to do a complete first run install as well as Supermon and macros on the latest Crompton image. The first thing you want to do, you want to get yourself a Class 10 micro SD card. Probably any old Class 10 will work. I tend to use the Extreme Class 10s. 8 gigabytes is plenty adequate. I've used 16. No need to run a huge card on this. Anyways, go to allstarlink.org, apply for a node number, and you're going to want, once you get your node number, you're going to want your password handy. They're going to assign you a node number, and in the node area, you're going to want to write down that password because we're going to need it for the first run script, and you're also going to want to configure your server. There's instructions on how to do that. I'm not going to cover that. You also want to pay attention to the UDP port assigned in the server. It's usually 4569 as default. We'll need that. Okay, moving on. Take your SD card, put it in the reader. First thing we want to do is launch SD card formatter. If you don't have it, get it. Select the drive. Mine is in drive H, and we're going to want to format the card. So hit format. I'm going to go ahead and format this sucker. And once this is complete, we are going to install the image. So you need to download that image, that latest Crompton AllStar image for an RPi2 3. And you're going to want to navigate to where you saved that image on the drive. And we'll get there shortly here when this completes. And there's some pieces of software you're going to need to download. So I will cover that when this completes. So it looks like we are just wrapping up. Waiting. There we go. Okay, go ahead and close this. You are going to need to download Win32 Disk Imager as well, Winscp, and Putty. Okay, we're going to launch Win32 Disk Imager. Okay. We are on device H, which is what my SD card is. We're going to select our image file. So navigate to wherever you downloaded your file to. RPi2-3, 1.5 RC2 is the AllStar image you're going to want. That's the latest image as of February 2018. Go ahead and click on that. Hit write. Yes. And that's going to write. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording here because this is going to take a little bit. We'll be back. Okay, next thing you need to do now that that's complete, the image is written, go ahead and close Win32 Disk Imager, eject the card, put it in the Pi. Make sure the Pi is not powered up when you put it in. Remove the power adapter. Put the card in the Pi, boot it up, and the first thing you're going to need to do is go in and configure your router, and you need to check some information. So grab a piece of paper handy, or open it on a separate screen. You need to open, these are the ports you need to open right here. There's a series of TCP and UDP ports. By default, the Pi is going to go to 222 and 4569 on the UDP. If you're only running one AllStar node, you can just go ahead and leave them right there. If you run multiple nodes, you're going to need to change these. You probably need to run like 223 on the second node and 4568 on the second node. But if you're just running one node, this is plenty adequate. Open these ports. You'll also, for Supermon, you're going to want to open additional ports for port 82. I use 82 here. You could use anything you want within a certain range. I open a TCP and UDP port. Make sure you pay attention to your IP address. You're going to need that to get into Putty. And here we go. We're going to start. Putty you should have downloaded and installed. Go ahead and launch Putty. And you are going to see, this is your IP. You're going to need to put your IP address in here and that port 222 in here. You're going to want to save it and name it whatever you want. And that way you can load it back in. And I believe there's a place. No, there's not in here. Anyways, so we're going to go ahead and load. I already have mine in here, so we'll load it. And we'll go in to the Pi. This is the first run. This is the first screen you're going to get. Click yes. Root. Put in root. Enter. And the default password is root as well. Enter. And you're going to get the first run script. You want to download system updates. So go ahead and click yes. And this is going to take a minute to run, so we'll be back. Okay, once that is complete, go ahead and restart the system. It'll ask you again to retrieve latest system updates. Of course, click no. Would you like to run first run setup? Yes. We go. Enter a new root password. So this is the root password. Make sure you write this down. I'm going to go ahead and put mine in. And it's going to prompt you to do it again. Okay, is this a private node? You do not want it to be private if you want it to communicate and be accessible. So I always do no. Enter public node number. This is your node number. So we put this in. Do you want to set up node configuration for Asterisk? Yes. Node configuration will run after reboot. So when you click OK, go ahead and hit enter. Default time zone, I'm in Eastern Standard Time, and I'm in northeast coast of the United States, so America, New York is fine with me. I do not want to change that. You will want to change that if you're in a different area. And you'll have the options as to what to select. So once you get back to this screen, if you need to change the time zone at a future date, enter admin.sh, click OK. Current host name is AlarmPi. I always change this to AlarmPi plus my node number. So I just put my node number in, and this is how it's going to show up in your router as well. Okay. I do not want to change that IP address because it's communicating, it's working. There's no reason to. So I'm going to click no. Default port is 222. I do not want to change that. I have the ports already open in the router for that. And it's running on Putty, and we will be using Winscp as well, so I check no. Go ahead and reboot, enter, and Putty is going to shut down, and you're going to have to close all of this and restart Putty. So we'll be back. It'll take a minute for it to come up. Okay, once you get Putty open again, go ahead and start Putty, log into your Pi. Remember root and the new password you put in. Okay, this first run script, you want to hit yes. Enter no number, that's okay, we already did that. Enter station call, so this is your call sign. So put your call sign in, hit enter. Yes, I always do yes, I want it to report to AllStar so people can find me. I choose voice ID only because sometimes Morse ID can be fairly drawn out and long, and it's annoying to me. You can choose either one. If you don't choose voice ID, it will default to Morse code ID. So I choose yes. Enter bind port for 4569. That's what we opened on the router, and that's what you should have set in your server in allstarlink.org. I do not change this. Click OK. You will have to change that if you're running another node. If you put up a second node, you'll have to change that. They can't be running on the same port. Number one, I choose one semi-half duplex. That's pretty traditional. Hit enter. Enter node password. This is where you need the password from allstarlink.org for your node. So I'll go ahead and put that in there. And actually, I'm going to move it off screen. So stand by just a moment. Okay, when you're done with that, click OK. Move back on screen here. I do not want to configure a password. I do not want to configure simple USB. We'll do that in Winscp. So go ahead and click no. Yes to restart. Okay, go ahead and minimize this. We're going to launch Winscp that you downloaded and installed. So launch Winscp, and you're going to want to create a new site. Put your IP address in along with your port number. You will need your username because this is going to log right into the Pi, okay, into the Asterisk. So you need root, remember, and the password that you change in Asterisk. You need to put that password in. Save that, and I always check remember password when you save it. That way you can get in here easily, and it'll name it, and it'll be in your list right here on the left. So once you've done that, hit log in, update. Okay, we're going to navigate to probably this is, you're either going to see root right here, or you're going to see just a /. Click this folder and it will get you to root. Okay, once you're in root, you want to go to etc, and then the very top folder, Asterisk. That's where we need to go. Now we're going to scroll down to simpleusb.conf. Okay, if you look right here, RX Boost, you really want RX Boost set to 1. Otherwise, if it's set to 0, a 20 dB attenuator will be inserted, and that's usually doesn't work out well for you. So make sure that's set to 1. Carrier from USB Invert. This is dependent on the sound fob you're using, the interface between the radio and the Pi. I'm using a Vox operated adapter, so I need USB, and I'm running on a little UV5R on this particular node. If you're running, let's say, a Motorola or an Alinco or some radio like that, you'll most likely need to run USB Invert. It depends. If it doesn't work on one, try the other. Invert PTT, usually it's ground to transmit. Set that to 0. PL filter right here, you want set to yes. These I usually leave alone. I don't mess with that. Keep in mind, anything where you see a semicolon in Asterisk means that it's not active. To activate something, you have to remove the semicolon. So PL filter, yes. Otherwise, it'll pass your PL tones if you're doing DTMF commands through the system. You don't want that. Usually, I will uncomment RX audio delay, and I will usually set this to 10. Sometimes, if you don't do this, it will cut off your audio. Hit save, top left corner, exit. Okay. And we'll be right back. We'll go ahead and do a restart here. So get Putty back up. Restart Asterisk. Yes. And we'll be back with the second half.